Hi, friends. I'm Kara, and I specialize in the social that converts and the karmic mindset methods. Today, we're going to do a quick rundown of what both of those mean and how they can help you grow your brand and increase your revenue. Let's go ahead and dive in. So, the problem that I see most businesses struggling with is that they seem to be posting aimlessly. Have you ever posted on Instagram or Facebook and wondered why there's no engagement and you feel like you're doing all of this work for nothing? Well, that's because you don't have a clearly defined strategy. And a clearly defined strategy comes down to knowing who your audience is, what platforms they're using, and the objectives that you're trying to reach. These three things will help us post with intention instead of posting aimlessly. The next thing that I see businesses struggling with is that they're disconnected from their target audience. And the reason is because they don't have their messaging totally dialed in. And in order to do that, we have to understand three things again. The first is, what is your brand voice, or how do you want to communicate with your audience? Next is understanding your audience's desires. So their fears, frustrations, wants, needs, aspirations, etc. Once we have that, we can create our core assets, which we will use consistently over all of your brand's pages, social media, websites, etc., to ensure that our copy resonates with the ideal audience and that your messaging is no longer disconnected. The third thing that I see is that businesses are blending in with everyone else on the internet. And if you're a nonprofit, for example, and your primary source of financing is through donations, you need to stand out. And we do that with creative that is engineered to do so. This creative can include eye catching videos, high quality photos, and scroll stopping graphics. With all three of these things working together, this will help us come up with a strategy for social that converts. But Kara, how does this apply to Facebook ads? I'm so glad you asked, my friend. Let's dive into the 90-day karmic mindset that will help increase your revenue through Facebook ads. And just like social that converts, there are three main pillars. The first is testing. So here we're going to take our creative headlines and primary text, and we're going to test these together to find out which variations work best. In this process, we're also figuring out, most importantly, what makes people click. We want to have a positive impact on the ads overall, and this is the key to our success. So after we test the elements, we're going to optimize the campaign. And here we're going to be paying closer attention to such details like call to actions or CTAs, if our ads are performing better on Facebook or Instagram. And we're also going to refine our audience and look at who's responding better to our ads. And these details can include gender, age, location, or even interests if we really want to deep dive. So after we've optimized, we are going to scale those ads. And we're going to do that using different methods such as the double down, the 20%, and the 2x2. This is the part where media buyers lose control or their ads fail. What happens is they unknowingly scale the problem, which causes the ads to fail and the clients to spend money unnecessarily, which is definitely what we don't want. By testing and optimizing first, we hone in on the root issues, which will lead to better performance when we're in that scaling phase. So, what does this do for your budget overall? I'm so glad you asked, my friend. When you move from testing to optimization, you get cheaper ads. You're spending less money trying to figure out what works in the testing phase compared to blowing your budget trying to figure out what works while you're optimizing. Now, when you optimize and scale, this helps with profit. So we can spend more money on ads because they're doing better and it brings your company more business. And the great thing about this flywheel is that when we continue to test, optimize, and scale, our results become infinite. We can do things at a larger scale that other media buyers can't do. And this will also prevent us from running out of concepts, ideas, copy, etc., which typically leads to ad fatigue or burnout. Now, if we don't use this method, what happens is we will experience higher costs, which will turn into losing your company money. and the system will eventually break when you try to scale it. Now, this system has been tested against thousands of ad accounts, hundreds of media buyers, and millions in ad spend. This is the system that will help take your business from struggling to profitable. I'm really excited to help you take action with this. Go ahead, scroll down for more details, and I'll see you on the inside. Bye, friends.